Painting fabric. This is a very short section, but I think, again, it's healthy. It's healthy. It's good for you. And I think what it will do is also expand your mind as to some of the possibilities of thinking outside the box with Photoshop. So some of you have seen I have a hair class I teach here at Creative Live, and I have a section where I say, hey, why don't you make some hair out of flame? Today I'm saying, hey, why don't we make some fabric out of flame? So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. And then, as many of you know, I'm a big believer in the Particle Shop plugin. I think it's amazing, buggy as heck. I don't care. You save. It's worth the effort. It's worth the pain. It's not that expensive. So I'm going to show you these two things, and let's talk about the first thing. So I was fortunate enough to work on a book. I like case studies. Case studies are always good. Called Last Night I Swam with a Mermaid. A photographer named Michael Muller shot it, all these underwater shots in a pool. And his wife wrote it. It's a kid's book. And then he shoots a lot of underwater photography in Tahiti and whatnot. And I got to compile all these images together and make this book. It's a really lovely book. And it was really fun because it's one of the few times in my career where I get some license. Like they're like, well, here, go make something. And so it was fantastic. Well, you know, we live in a society where sometimes there's issues about how people look and what's going on. And the decision here was we need to cover her up. So I'm going to use the Render Flame plugin to show you how you can add fabric to an image like this. So I want to show it to you. I want to visually show it to you, and then I'm going to walk you through it. Okay, so what you end up doing is you're going to use the Filter Render Flame, and you're going to change it from basic mode to advanced to make some changes. And I know this type is hard to read for some people. It'll be on the handout. This is very basic. I'm going to walk you through it right now. We're going to make a new layer. We're going to draw a path with the pen tool. You must path this out. It needs a path to operate against. And you're going to play with the settings. You can change the color of the flame. I'm going to not do that now. And besides, didn't we just go over 5 different ways of changing color? Yes, we did. So you don't need this right now. So here's what we're going to do. Brand new layer. Draw from the top down. This is really important, and I'm going to demo this for you. You draw from the start to the end. Very important. You make a new layer. Please make a new layer. Please do not do this on a flat layer. You need flexibility for this, and you're going to change your mind. You pick the flame, you play with it, you do it 75 different times, okay? This is not a one-stop thing. You're going to have to get the feel for it. I'm going to hold off on this for a section on the colorizing, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the path. So let's take a look at this file. Get rid of our actions. We don't need that. I'm just going to put a gray layer for a minute so I can show it to you. This is the flame that I've drawn. I'm going to redo it for you in just a second. I just want to show you what it's going to be. Did I say you want to practice? So I'll build a flame layer. I'll then colorize it. And then because you're never done, ladies and gentlemen, you're never done, you're going to put a little more on top, colorize it, a little darkening on top, add some white. And, well, do you want to put some extras on top? Yes. What might that be? Well, of course you need to put the waistband back. And of course you're going to need some bubbles. Excellent. So here we go. New layer. Pen tool. Start from the top, drag down. How you do this doesn't matter. This is so not precious. Why I say that is, do you know when you illustrate something and you really have to be careful because it's so hard? You don't have to be careful because you can do it 75 times in 2 minutes. Filter, render, flame. One flame along the path, you're pretty much going to want that. I'll tell you this right now. I'm on the basic. I can change the length. I can change the width. I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to want to be down here, to be honest. And then I like to go to the advanced. You can make it more cuckoo bear crazy. You can jag it. These are subtle. I don't know if you noticed that. It just went, it's jealous. It doesn't make that noise, though. All right. You can change it from normal to violent, to flat. That's really pretty. I like that one. And you can randomize shapes. You can change the arrangement. I'm going to be 100% honest because I don't want to lie to you guys. I don't know what that is. I can see that it's spreading out more or less, but I can't articulate to you what what that is. So if I can't do it, I don't know if you can do it. So play with this. I kind of like, look, 72 was wide. That's wide. That's not wide. I'm sorry, I can't explain this. I'm sure someone at Adobe can do it. I can't. And who cares? Just play with it. This is fun. All right. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to move on a bit on this. I think this is such a basic concept. Let me turn the path off. There's another path I drew for the little ones. So basically what you're going to do, this is not precious, please do not be precious with this, is you're going to draw a bunch of them. So I'm going to pull out one of these and close it back down. So what you'll see here, and I'm going to put a gray layer just so you can see it. That's my new one. That's this one. Oh, and just mask it out a little. And here's another thing I like to use, Command-T for transform. And you can scale them. You can make tighter ones. You can move it. You can make it fly. Fly. Can you fly underwater? Guess you can now. You can do warp and really tighten it up to whatever shape. You can liquefy it, anything you want. All right? Now, I'm gonna revert back to history for just a second. So what you have here are some additions that I just want to discuss. We talked about colorizing. There's my flames drawn. You know how to draw a flame now, Justo. And now I did a gradient map. It's a gradient map on normal, and here happens to be the color. If the client wants it more pink later, all right. I can do that. Red, pink, okay, whatever you want. Completely 100% flexible. Same technique we just used on the other ones. This might hurt a little. You ready for the next section? All right. I'm a channel pulling fool. You know this about me. So what I'm going to do is I want a little extra highlight. I'm going to fill this layer with black just as a base, just temporarily. Look what I have. Do you remember I said there's stored selections? What if I want to highlight on this fabric, a white highlight or brighter contrast? Because the flame render is only going to do as much contrast as it has. I can take the green or blue copy. I did the green one for the demo. Let's do the blue one. Lisa loves her channels and her levels. Command L. What you're doing here is you want a selection. Take your hands off the computer. What the heck am I doing? I'm in channels. I made a copy. What is the purpose of this channel? I want to paint white highlights, but I don't want to hand draw them. So I pulled a channel. I'm doing a levels move. I'm making a selection. It's going to hang out right here. I think that's pretty good. It's tight. It's crisp. I'm going to hit OK. Now, in the other job, the gals, their color, I use that channel as a layer. I am not using the channel as a layer. I'm using it as a selection. So pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to say blue for white fill. I'm going to load that selection or channel, grab it by its name, drag it to the add a selection icon, or my favorite, hold the command key, it's always this left hand, over the icon for that channel, click on it, and I'm going to fill with white. Option delete, command delete, the background color is command delete. And now I've just added this really pretty white highlight on it. Y'all cool with that? Channel pulling for days. Sorry, I get very excited about channel pulling. So that's render. Cool? Flame, it's awesome. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. Et voila. And you can do as much as little as you want. Woo, you ready for the next one? Come on. Particle Shop. I love Particle Shop. So I'm going to show you these two handouts. Particle Shop is a plugin that is from Painter, the program Corel Painter. So it's all about paint. And it paints and it has brushes. It's a little, oh, I'm sorry. Can I have my screen up? Sorry. It's a little unwieldy. As I said, it crashes, but it allows me to paint in a way that I don't easily do. And I don't know Painter. I don't. I'd like to know it, but I just don't. So instead, I've got a plugin that just does these effects rather quickly, and I like it. As I said, it crashes all the time, so all you want to do is you want to do it, save before you start, don't have a ton of things open, save when you're done, and then get rid of it. So this is a sample of what that layer looked like before I put it in the file. Cool? All right, so let's do another underwater function. Awesome. So let's say this is my job, and I need to paint. You know how underwater photography is really in? And it's very hard to get that water to do what it wants to do in the pool and all that. So here's the original. And on this kind of assignment, what I'm going to do is get rid of the fabric that doesn't suit for me. Okay, so that doesn't suit for me. And now I'm going to paint. So I'm going to show you how to do it. It's about 44 bucks, I think, for the basic package. And that's pretty much all you need. You don't need the full package. I have it. Very important. Make a merge layer. Command, Option, Shift, E. Merge everything up to a top layer. This layer is what I'm going to paint on, and it's going to disappear when I'm done. It's going to disappear when I'm done. So I'm not even going to label it. I know that's shocking. Filter, Painter, Particle Shop. And I'm praying it's going to work fine because, as I said, it is buggy. But worth it. Worth every moment of it. Yes, launch Particle Shop. Particle Shop is a freestanding application that will be launched through Photoshop, and when you quit, you go back to Photoshop. All right, they have a gazillion million brushes. Most of these brushes are really similar. Okay, most of these brushes are very similar, and they just have maybe a different color attached to it. So I would not suggest you spend the $149 for the entire pack, the Ultimate Kit. I don't think you need it. I think the standard one will get you where you want. You pick a brush, so they have wetting options, and they have something called fine. I don't know what that means, but it's fine. I can't look up the whole name, so I have no idea. That's all right. You want to pick a color over here on the left-hand side. I'm going to pick white, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to paint. Now, you can paint on her, or you can paint off to the side. You have a choice. It's up to you. I'm going to zoom in, and it's got fabric lines to it. It's actually pretty cool, and it is unwieldy. It's very unpredictable. I'm going to revert. I just clicked on the upper left hand. This is the stuff that took me a while to fill. This will invert the last brush stroke. This will take you back to 0. Okay? This is density, and then brush size, and then this is color. Directional, lovely, very subtle. Do you see how pretty that is? And then I do have a fabric one I want to show you. Fabric, here we go. And I'm going to do a silk scarf. Silk scarf is definitely my favorite, by far. Do you know do you see how it works when it goes? It goes, and in fact, for giggles, I just want to show you one other thing. Core pack, and I'm going to do heat trail. I'm just going to do an S. That's all I'm going to do. Do you see how the brush does this wiggle squiggle thing? So I don't understand the mechanics of it, of how it works, which is why I love this thing so much. So I find it very unwieldy and very hard to precision control. So what I do you notice I drew off to the side? I didn't draw on her. It's because I can't get it to match me. That's me. Other people can. That's me. So I'm going to undo that last one. Sorry, undo the last one. And I'm going to hit save. Very important, please, 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 hands off the computer. Save only the brush strokes. Do not merge it. And you want to hit OK. Layer 1. I'm going to fill it. There it is. Oh, it's so pretty. OK, and why I put it on this layer here, I'll put it in the fabric folder, because now I can Command T, and I can do whatever I want, warp it, do whatever I need to do, and place it, and mask it, and do whatever I need to. Now, I want to show you another thing you can do. Color's not quite right, right? So one of the things you can do in Photoshop, let's call it silk scarf. If you click the lock button, I can fill this with white, or sample her color. I'm going to sample her color. All right, that might work for you. But you know what I think? Sometimes it doesn't work because it's so monochromatic and the whole thing is filled. So what I will do instead of that is I will still lock the layer, but I'll use the gradient tool with that same color, and I'll just click and drag, and I'll just color it in some areas. Do you see that? So I just clicked and dragged there, and I let that go dark. So you still get that tonality. That brush was 30 seconds. 30 seconds to do that. So for this file here, I'd like to just show you what I did. And again, this is like the ugly stuff under the hood. Shall we look? A little ugly. But I want you to know how I work, because I feel like it's disingenuous to show you something perfect and then have you go home and go, oh, this doesn't work the same way. So here's me thinking. Wedding Fine Chi. Do you remember I said I couldn't see the brush name? Wedding Fine Chi. All right, I'll copy that. Well, that's kind of cool. It's a little flat. I want something a little more rolly. I'm just making copies. These are literally, do you remember I said you can take it and transform it? There's the mother, copy, copy. It's the exact same one, only transformed. That's the only difference, and masked in. I'll show you the crappy mask, super crappy mask, because I don't need a fine mask for this. All right, silk scarf, my favorite. And instead of painting it on its own layer, I just grouped a paint layer, because I wasn't sure. Right copy, it's the exact same piece, just copied and transformed. Right side again on top, it's the same piece, just copied and transformed. Add a little paint and add a little silk scarf on top. Cool? You think you could use it? Yeah, maybe. It's pretty rockin' awesome. That took me 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes to do. Oh, very important. As I looked at this, and don't be afraid of doing this, I looked at this and I thought this needed a little bit of extra love on it. So I copied the bottom and I liquefied it. I'm going to show you that real quick. So what I did is I took a copy of the bottom, just the square, yeah, and I liquefied it and I masked it in really bad because you didn't need to be precise. And what that did is it just added a little bit of flounce. And if I'm not mistaken, I had that on 50% opacity, just to add a little dimension. And why? Because it took 2 seconds, and why not? You can. Cool? Awesome. All right, let's move on. I'm going to go back to my keynote, and I have one more to show you. So I'm about to show you a mistake, because why not? Shall we talk about mistakes? It's really healthy, right? I think it's healthy. Do I have my mistake in here? I don't know if I have my mistake in here. All right. I haven't mentioned this, but I'm going to. Did I say it's a little unwieldy? So when I find shapes I like, I save them out as libraries. I save them out as libraries. I find that some of you are going to have no trouble. I have some trouble. So when I make some particular fabric bits that I like and I have an image library, I save them out just so I can grab them for anything. Particle Shop Copy 5. Can I tell you I have no idea what brush this is? Did you see how many brushes there are? I spent an hour yesterday trying to find the brush still. It's been 2 weeks. I still can't find the brush. So this is, let me show you my idiotness. Please, I beg of you, label your layers. And I don't know if I have the layered file. I apologize. I had a little technical glitch here earlier. Let me just double check. I don't have it. I apologize. So I can't show you the layered file on, oh yes I did. Apology rescinded. Here we go. All right. So this was something I'd been working on for a long time. Earlier I said, please practice on your own time. Don't practice these brushes on a job. Practice on your own time. So I've been practicing with this. So what I have is a base shot from Adobe Stock. I did a quick extension, and then I started painting, and I was like, this is fantastic. I love that sweep. I'm going to use that sweep for a bunch of stuff. I love the brush. Do you see the texture in the brush? I know it's a white screen, but can you see that? Woof. No idea what brush that was. So please, please, please try to remember to label your brushes. And on a side note, I will often do things like this. I will take the smudge tool, and I'm going to put a gray layer so you can see it. I will use the smudge tool on a layer. We have a whole paintbrush class here at Creative Live. They'll tell you how to use your smudge tools. But I will often use a very messy smudge tool to fill in underneath the fabric I've painted, because it takes two seconds. Smudge brush and mixer brush. And then I put everybody in, and voila, there's your picture. Particle brush, give it a go.